warning light right there.
That's your, you don't need to worry about it.
Oh, this is the exact... God damn it! Matt Happel, what have you done? Wait, I need A gear, any gear, any gear. Is that a gear? It sure is a gear. Is this Taka? Whoa, 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 buddy, baby, whoa, baby, whoa. Woo! Is this tack accurate?
Yes.
That's all I was revving it. Yeah. Okay. All right, what's up with third?
It's hard to shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. It makes you look like a bad shifter.
Yeah.
That's the. I have a short shifter on here that I modified further.
Yeah.
And I think it's making it not good.
I turned the air conditioner on. I wonder how much horsepower that's going to rob us.
Well, over a certain RPM, it just shuts the AC off. Because it's...
Damn, this is savage. You know, after driving this, when I got back into the giveaway C6 Corvette, the C6 Corvette suddenly felt like a sophisticated sports car for discerning automotive enthusiasts. And the giveaway Corvette, this is ending this Wednesday. The giveaway for the C6 is ending this Wednesday. So click on the link in the description or go to go.getentertowin.com/regular cars, buy a mug, digital download. Someone's going to walk away with the Corvette this Wednesday. Believe me, it's enough power. This DeLorean is a crazy, manic mutant of a machine now, and this thing has the power to become the most powerful DeLorean on the planet. Josh has taken it back for the LS. No more of these turbocharged V6s or other weird things. It has to be LS, and this thing is going to dominate every single other DeLorean on the planet. But you too can also have an LS engine. Click on the link in the description and go to go.getentertowin.com/regular cars, buy a mug, digital download. Someone's going to win the C6 Corvette. Let's get back to the DeLorean. So natural aspiration wasn't enough, was it?
No.
We had to go to a blower.
Yeah.
Let's go right to the back.
So it's still an LS4. That's what I started with, as an LS4. Fits these cars really nice. Good heads, aluminum block, easy to come by. 5.3 liter, as much displacement as I need.
Figure out your intake problem, because before I remember the intake was here.
Yes.
And now you have a blower. How did you get good fluid dynamics going into, because here's the engine, here's the back of the car.
If you take this off, you can see the blower pulley.
Your blower pulley's right behind your license plate?
Yeah, we're using every millimeter. Okay, so we have if you actually look down there, you can see the filter. It's coming in through there. And mass airflow sensors in there as well. And comes up right to the throttle body. Now you're at the engine. I had a friend back home modify the snout on the supercharger and put this 90-degree angle on it.
So it had to cut it right there?
Normally the throttle body goes right here, but I'd have a pipe coming out the back of my car. So it's tight. It's tight with a supercharger. So the header, these have some miles on them, so you can see they're a bit weathered. But this is a C10 truck swap header.
That's it?
Yeah, it's off the shelf header. Once again, same buddy that did this on the intake manifold, welded up an exhaust. It's a U-bend around, has a cat and a muffler.
Before, you were using the Renault UN1, and
Yeah.
I freaked out that you were doing that. How are you getting the power now to the wheels?
Okay, I must still defend the UN1.
Yeah?
I must defend it. I put 15,000, 5 digits,
Yeah.
miles on that transmission. I went to autocross, did some unofficial drag racing, just driving like a jerk on the streets. Put it through its paces. I took it out of my car, sold it to someone. It lives on to in their car. It was good to me.
Yeah.
If you use it within its limits.
Yeah.
It would not live behind a supercharged LS or a turboed LS or anything like that. But it served me well. That being said, I wanted to go for something more, and we are now running a Porsche transaxle. So this one's out of a 2002 Porsche 911 Carrera. G9600 or 01. I had to chop a little bit of the end of the transmission off. Just stuff that you don't need. You just cut a bit of the transmission off. It is
Which end of the transmission?
the far and the tail of it, which is closest to the front, which is opposite of a normal vehicle.
Yeah.
It is like a hair away from where the frame lies out. Like, this engine's far back, but it couldn't be any farther forward. It's just not physically possible. New adapter plate, flywheel, transaxle mounts, the stock clutch line, everything actually bolts right up to it. The stock DeLorean hydraulics bolt up to it, which is surprising, and the axles bolt up to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't need
I
to
have
do
stock
any...
DeLorean axles in here.
Matt Happel will tune your car if it's an LS swap DeLorean, especially with an LSA.
Is there going to be like a big disclaimer on the bottom of the screen?
Well, he made that entire video.
No, I remember that.
Okay, yeah. If people haven't seen it, Regular did like a mini movie about how I won't tune your car if I don't want to, because I'm selection only and I'll be a jerk.
Full accessories.
You have air conditioning?
Yeah.
You have. Where's the air conditioning?
It is. You have to kind of look at it from underneath.
You have-
but it's straight down there. Oh, sorry.
Are you?
It's a stock style DeLorean air conditioner.
And you have a heater core. You have heat.
Yeah. Everything works.
Power steering.
DeLoreans don't have power steering, but I do have power steering.
Okay, so you. Well, how did you do that?
I went to the junkyard, got a power assist rack of a Nissan Versa, and then took that steering column, or not the rack, the column, because the power assist is in the column, and I took the Versa one and sat beside the DeLorean one, and then just cut both of them until they... Normally it also has power brakes, hydraulic, or vacuum assist brakes.
Right.
But I moved to electric assist power brakes with a unit from a Tesla. That it sits up front where the booster normally sits.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Under in the frunk.
Under the frunk, yeah.
Under the frunk.
Under the frunk. A new discovery of yesterday. I was cruising on the highway, and this panel.
Is now somewhere else.
No, I have it. I found
okay.
it.
It just came out.
I can set it down in there, but it's just held on by this 42-year-old double-sided tape.
Oh, okay. We got some. I think we'll go get some amazing goop or something.
The superchargers off of Camaro ZL1 or of similar year Cadillac CTS-V.
Okay.
So the second gen CTS-V. Once again, same buddy that did all this obscure welding for me, Colin G. He is a big turbo guy, and someone had partially paid him with a supercharger. He's like, what the hell am I going to do with a supercharger? So we worked out a deal, and now I have it.
Okay.
So that's how that started. It was one of those, buddy has the parts sitting around. Looking back on it now, turbo would be cool.
Yeah.
I like the packaging of the supercharger.
Yeah.
It's all tight. Tall, but tight. It's got a little smaller pulley on it, but it has a aftermarket cam, so it's back around stock boost levels. I think it makes like 12 psi. It's kind of an experiment, just like everything on this car is a big rolling science experiment.
How's the interior looking?
I'm approaching the final version of this car.
Wonderful. Well, let's get this thing on the dyno.
Yeah.
There's a delay on PE at 3,000. So under 3,000, there's a delay for your commanded, or actually won't PE below 3,000. So I set that to 0. I like to set this to 85. I'm messing with the spark table. So the spark tables are arbitrary in these cars. There's not real math. You can't say at 5 pounds have 15 degrees. You can't. It's like a gram cylinders
It thinks it's so smart.
internal ECU math, and then so you have to roll in and out of it. I saw the spark was super low right away, so I stayed in it. but usually you roll into a, like just around boost and make sure it's not too high or too low. And then you can modify the spark table because you can see kind of where the transition is. And then sometimes if it's pinning the table too far, you have to scale the ECU back, and it's all sorts of fun bullshit.
So you're paying like $1,500 for firmware, or you're calling like John Reed Racing or something, and he's giving you firmware. Well, then you're locked into him for tuning and wiring, and I mean the Motec thing is like Amosoil. Big scam.
What's your take on Amsoil?
It's fucking oil.
It seems like
It's oil.
everybody's uncle.
It's a cult.
Everybody's
It's a cult.
uncle is a
I feel
dealer
like
for
it's
that.
military dudes get into that. You
Yeah.
ever notice?
Amsoil?
They're like, I got a 17 APR on my Charger, buy Amosoil from me.
Yeah. Yeah. Black Rifle coffee.
Yeah. I got a discount code for Black Rifle, buy Amosoil from me. Let's see if I can.
I can do it.
Maybe come underneath. I don't know. This is the engine plot for RPM, but it got too many interruptions during the pull, so it couldn't plot it. So what we're going to do is plot it by vehicle speed, and then we'll turn off torque because it wasn't getting it, and we'll rescale quick. I made 398. So you can, I think I lifted at 6,000, so you just kind of think about it. I think I was at 2 to 6,000. So we can see the plot.
Set to 62, the limiter. But
Yeah, I definitely didn't hit a limiter, so.
Right.
I wanted to look over the data more. And then it was off my 10.0, so I'll.
feel free to rev it more if you want.
And then I also noticed your cruise and stuff is like 11 too. You have the narrow bands, right?
Yeah.
We could turn them on. Well, after we pull the wideband, maybe we'll play with that.
Okay.
You could get significant mileage increase by turning on your narrows. And
Are you talking about lean cruise? Are you
No.
just
cruise.
Yeah, I know. When I was driving here, I had it closed, but I opened
Oh,
it back
okay.
up today.
Yeah, we'll trim it and then we'll turn. Oh yeah, you'll turn them back on.
I made my the top half of the table is pretty good. It's
also look
like
at-
plus or minus.
Oh, okay. I'll also look at your commanded air fuel changes on ethanol.
Okay.
So it might be too rich for whatever reason. So the like closer to the no ethanol amount,
Yeah.
maybe like 1.3, be like a mid 11 commanded. And then on E, you might have similar and it's just putting too much in. You can change the commanded, so depending on the amount of flex in there, it changes the wide open air fuel. But that depends if there's significant delta.
Well, it bases it off that stoic table, right? Your PE belts.
PE. Power enrichment isn't the, but that's the multiplier for.
The PE's multiplier for commanded.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your commanded is driven off of the stoic table, is it?
I run gasoline air fuels the whole time. It really makes it simpler. People will tell you, oh, it needs a whatever or whatever, but unless you're using like a lambda sensor and only using lambda, the numbers are. I just use gasoline.
Yeah,
Gasoline table,
I
1,500
see.
horsepower car. Gasoline table, 300 horsepower all motor car. Yeah. Greatly simplifies it, doesn't it, when you think about it that way?
I still need to wrap my head around it, but I'm coming around.
Yeah.
It's very obvious that I was tuning it way too rich because I didn't know what I was
That's fine. You
doing.
need to blow it up.
Yeah.
You did great. I just floored it and it made 400.
We don't talk about the word blowing things up.
Well, I mean, I see it people all the time if they've been driving it for a long time. It doesn't matter.
Is this what you have to do if you don't have a OBD port?
No, this is what you do if you have no wideband gauge.
You can tune up.
He has one, but it has no display, and I'd have to set like a custom thing to read the voltage scale, and then convert the voltage. So say it reads 10 to 20, so the middle of that would be 2.5. So then we would shoot for like a 1.7 or a 2 voltage to get safe air fuel for. But it's much easier to just put mine in, floor it, and look for 11s. Because then, like I was explaining to him, HP tuners and other tuning classes explain to you how to build a histogram in the ECU, and it looks at commanded and actual and builds a percentage offset you can paste in. But like I said to him, there's delays in the calculations, and there's delays. Yeah, seriously, stock ECU bullshit. what I always say.
You were explaining my frustrations.
Yep, when you paste the math histogram, it dicks you over. It gets real funny on the hit, right? Because what happens is it passes all those frequencies in the mass air meter.
It's fucking bullshit.
It blows right through all that.
Yeah,
That's why I just visual them and blend. And people are like, well, that's a hack job. He doesn't even log air fuel. I'm like, man, it fucks up. It fucks up. And people that have done it are like, yeah, he's like, man, my shit gets all... I'm like, yeah, that's what it does. I've experienced that. It only dipped a little bit of horsepower because I took out 2 to 3 degrees down low.
Yeah.
And then I put in 1 up top. It's roughly the same. So I'll probably take it back out.
What were you revving to?
68.
Sweet.
Yeah, usually a PD car like this will, because it keeps making boost the farther you go. 522. We roughly picked up 120 wheel.
How did you do that?
Fuel and spark, essentially. I cleaned up a bunch of his fuel table. It just needed a little bit. I mean, he's brand new to this, so. And then I changed like a little bit of stuff, not much. I just cleaned up what it was. I mean, not to be egomaniac, it was one of my bases, so it's very good for this setup. And then I changed there's an ethanol spark adder, so it had a little bit in there, but I changed that and blended it too. So when the ethanol content is higher, it automatically adds the spark.
When you say add spark, you mean adds timing?
Ignition timing, I'm sorry.
And what was the timing it started with?
I think it had 8.
8 degrees, 14.
And I think now it has roughly 14 up top.
So 14 degrees, it starts at 14 degrees for top.
No, it's when I reference up top, it means it's always lower down low. It can't use the spark down low. Majority of cars will take less spark down low. You can tabletop it and you can have like 18 across the board, but what you'll realize is if you take that down to maybe 12, it makes the same power. So it's not worth it being in there.
Okay.
And then also his transmission is kind of, do you know it cannot survive much more?
I'm told somewhere in that 500 to 600 foot-pounds.
Oh, okay. So you just want to avoid it, period.
Yeah, so since we can't see the torque, then I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a weird noise.
Wasn't it? It slapped them together and popped. He did a great job just trying to keep it safe. I mean, how long have you been driving it?
Well, I drove 800 miles yesterday.
That's what I mean. Like, it obviously was very good to survive such a long trip. And this is what I do, so I just...
What did we hear in the beginning where we started it up, where it sounded like an old lawnmower was going?
It was hunting a little bit, and that was partially the fuel and a little bit of the idle spark tables and stuff. I changed a little bit of it. And then what's annoying is a product of like this operating system and everything I built that does flex with the stock ECU. It does that when you start it, it hangs, it fires and it's good, and then it goes whoa. And I mean, everything I've done, it doesn't get rid of it. Someone might be able to help me out with that, but I have not been able to. It's like a product of the speed density OS with the 80E segment and the flex fuel segment. Like it's a conglomerate that was never meant to exist. It's like that quote, Hunter S. Thompson, a hybrid something that was never meant to be mass produced or whatever. Yeah, a mutant, a strange strong hybrid, whatever that quote is. It's fantastic.
I feel like they're catching on pretty quick.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Some wonderful roads here.
I know, they're top notch. Well, credit to your suspension, it's working.
Oh, yeah. This is a DW coilover, like it's a performance coilover. And
these brakes.
I feel it drives pretty nicely.
Alright, I'm just gonna leave it in fourth because it seems to like fourth. That was a wheel rub?
There's like this with the new wheels up front. If you're like drop the wheel, it's not hurting anything.
There's no indicator for high beam. Is that stock horn?
Yeah.
I wonder if this car changes shape under load, or is just the door just...
When we put the cars on the lift, the doors close noticeably worse.
There's well, the road just got better for a second. You know, I wonder if that slight... Okay, I'm noticing something with the steering.
Okay.
It's like...
With all these cool little roads, any narrower it'd be a walking path.
I feel like the car feels like it floats a little bit.
Okay.
Like, not with the steering, but like the... Yeah, that third, it's like, I don't know if I'm in it or not.
Yeah.
And it's not quite like any Toyota that fights third, because the solution for every Toyota that doesn't want to go into third is just let it dwell for like a millisecond in the middle of the shift gate and then push it forward. It's sort of like a and then it'll take it every single time.
That always gets me, how you're just cruising
Yeah.
and you just okay.
Like, not with the steering, but like the suspension.
I think the rear coils are could be, the dampeners could be bumped up a little bit.
I mean, it's riding obviously way better than it did before on the stock stuff.
Yeah.
With the stock stuff, it was like swaying,
It was
boaty, and
It was all stock suspension when you drove it last, which is, looking back on it now, yeah, it was all stock brakes, all stock suspension. And I don't know how I drove the car for so long like that. It's funny to me how
I feel like
Matt kept saying it's very safe amount of
Yes.
power. Like
that. This is
he's being very conservative.
Yeah.
You know, it'll make more, but you know, whatever.
That's the not kill you thing. What was that clunk? Did it pop out of gear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Got a little MR2 action there.
That's a Porsche thing. Before, the previous life of this gearbox was not a good one. So next winter, I guess, when I have the engine out, like I seemingly seem to do every winter,
Yeah.
I will. The synchro's bad on it too.
Oh, okay. I feel like I am on a wooden roller coaster all the time, and even though I'm controlling the wooden coaster, I'm still surprised at every moment. Gosh damn, a DeLorean with more power and probably more torque on a Viper.
It's 5 times the stock horsepower. Turning radius still sucks like a DeLorean. I'm surprised how quickly you like know how the car drives. It's definitely.
I guess because even though, like, no matter what you do, an LS car feels LSE.
LSE.
There's a certain familiarity to it. I suppose if this was NA, it'd be a little bit more manageable off the line.
Yeah.
But that's not the point anymore. The point is to just end conversations with this.
Yeah, it's just being ridiculous.
I love it. This rules. Oh, goodbye, DeLorean.
Click the link in the description or go to go.getenteredtowin.com/regular cars, buy a mug digital download, and someone's going to win this wonderful cruiser. Reinvent it for yourself. Thank you so much for taking part in these giveaways. You're helping us get out to see you guys. Australia 2024.